Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the LOL Pro League. We're here in our grand finals between Thunderbot Sparta and Aces High. My name is Munchables, and casting with me is Sigilis. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, and that last game was very, very entertaining. I thought TBS showing just how dominant they are. I mean, really, if you look back at the results all across the tournament, I think they only dropped one game in the group stages and haven't dropped a game since. Actually, no, that's not true. They dropped one game to Virtus Pro in their winners bracket quarterfinals game, but you can really see why they have done so well when you look at them now. I mean, they are just so on form. They always seem to be making, especially in team fights, really, really smart decisions. And even though earlier on in that game, in a few different places they were kind of struggling, they just turned it back around seemingly with ease, and it felt like Aces couldn't do anything. Every time they made a good play, it was just not enough to actually obtain any objective, not enough to actually put someone enough ahead that they could deal with anyone else one-on-one. I mean, in that game, did you see any point where any member of Aces High actually successfully won a little fight? I mean, basically not at all, right? So Thunderbot looking insanely strong, the 2-0 up, one more game, and they win the entire LPL.
Yeah, and I mean that is the most important point as well. That even in the closest Aces High got to beating TBS in a skirmish was going even. Basically, they didn't actually pull ahead at any point of the game. So actually, we're gonna see Nah made it through the ban phase, which I almost don't believe my eyes. Sejuani, however, getting banned out.
That's not too surprising. Sean's had a very good game on Sejuani last time around. I mean, even though he had almost no impact in the early game, he was still able in the mid game to just dominate people with that Glacial Prison. That skill is so good in team fights. Theocles, on the other hand, had the Jarvan pickup and was going around ganking all over the place, but basically didn't get any kills. Even when he came towards the bottom lane and they got the tower, he still missed the fight, right? Like, he actually wasn't able to accomplish anything. Now Sean's is on Jarvan. They have left open Lee Sin this time. Obviously, it's a little bit less of a pressure situation because Sean's is the one who's so good on Lee Sin. But going for the Pantheon, it looks like, on Theocles, this is going to be a really interesting game for the junglers, I think. Because last game, I would argue that even though Sean's didn't put pressure down, he really was the better in that role. This game, Theocles is on Pantheon, and the early pressure that he was applying last game should be able to do a little bit more on this champion, I would think.
Yeah, and we've seen Theocles play Pantheon to great effect previously as well. So also going to see the Corki locked in for Holy Phoenix yet again. Obviously feeling very confident on that champion. Definitely a pick that they're comfortable with. I'll be interested to see what support they go with, whether they go with that Morgana again. Obviously, Thresh has been banned out this time.
Yeah, I mean, not having Thresh available is a little bit of a sticky situation. I would argue for both teams, right? Because Janna isn't there as well. So you've got Sona, Morgana. Those are basically the other two that people are playing at the moment, and then maybe you might see Nami or Soraka, right? Soraka, we've seen her a few times, actually. We saw her in, I believe, the semifinals with Rock's Kiss. And we also saw them in the Virtus Pro games when they were up against Aces High. And it hasn't really worked out any of the times we've seen it. Blitzcrank, we have seen Blitzcrank a few times. I think we actually saw Lune play that earlier on in the tournament and do relatively well. But it's a bit of an unconventional one, especially with the Caitlyn. The lane pressure is going to be fairly sick with that, I would imagine. That they are really going to be strong in lane. But you know, now looking across at the support that we're going to see with Corki, I think it's kind of got to be Morgana at this point. Like, they need some AP damage, they need to be able to deal with the hooks. If you don't pick Morgana, what are you going to pick? Well, you could pick Soraka or Nami, but they just don't really pack the same punch.
Yeah, and we're going to see immediately that Morgana being hovered over. We'll have to see what their other pick is. Obviously, have that mid lane pick left, and it's going to be basically going in blind against whatever TBS wants to pick against it. And looks like the Ari going to be locked in, despite Lissandra already being locked in for the other team.
Yeah, I mean, something we've been seeing a lot is teams not really respecting Lissandra and Ta'ari. And to be honest, in a lot of situations, even though you can demolish an Ahri by using the Frozen Tomb, you're better off like using it on the AD carry or maybe even some or yourself, you know. So it's not the worst pick into a Lissandra that there is, but it is potentially pretty bad if the Ahri is the only one who gets ahead, right? So let's say Avenue has a really dominating performance on Ahri this game, then it makes Steve's life very easy. He's just going to be going for the Frozen Tombs on her, and that shuts her down so hard, right? If everyone is kind of doing well, then it's a little bit harder for Steve to make his choice about who's going to use a Frozen Tomb on. It's much more situational, but certainly it shuts down a fed Ahri better than it shuts down just like an averagely strong Ahri, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely. And interestingly enough, we're going to see a Fizz locked in. Now, Fizz, one of my favourite champions to spectate, should see some crazy plays coming out in this mid lane. Both of these champions going to want to be very aggressive in that lane, so we'll have to see what happens there. I mean, Fizz very notorious for those level 2, level 3 all-ins, and Ahri does take a little bit of time to ramp up, so we'll have to see. But we are going to head into a short break before the game kicks off. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be onto the Rift momentarily. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the LoL Pro League. We're here in our grand finals, and this game could be the game that TBS win to get $20,000. They've got aces high to battle their way through just yet, though. It is 2-0 towards Thunderbot Sparta, though, in this best of 5 so far. If you're just joining us, my name is Munchables, and casting with me is Osigalus. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Last game was pretty good. I thought Ace is really just not looking like they're on quite the same level as TBS right now, so they're going to have to really pull something pretty amazing out here if they want to come back into this. They need to win the next 3 games in a row, which is a tall order for any team, let alone one who just showed that they can lose a game, pretty easily against TBS. So this is an interesting play here. I actually kind of like the cheese that Aces tried to go for here. Obviously, both bot lanes normally start on the Gromp, or the Gromp or the Krugs, depending on if you're blue or red side, right? So they were trying to catch Lune and Nono, going to interrupt their Krugs because of the fact that they've got Blitzcrank, right? Smartly, I think TBS didn't go for that, and the reason I think that's smart is because that cheese, although it could have been really devastating, was also fairly easy to read. If you're in the position that they're in, you're against a Blitzcrank, it's a sensible decision to go for it, and it's still not bad that Aces did, right? You'd have to kind of call their bluff if you wanted to not go for that cheese, but it shows that Aces are really trying to pull out some inventive tactics here to come back into this.
Yeah, as you say, they're relatively easy for TBS to read just because they know that nobody is on the map. Like last game we saw, all 5 sort of players could see their respective opponents, and then suddenly no one on Aces is visible. You've got to smell it right immediately, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. You never are not going to see people if they're not going for some kind of cheese nowadays, because at the very least you're going to see the mid laner come put that ward down in the middle of the lane. You're going to see something like that. But one thing I want to talk about much, this bot lane is going to be action-packed, I think. Lune and Nono have got such good lane dominance between them. Obviously, Blitzcrank, those hooks are scary as hell if you're up against him. And Nono, just so much damage.
Holy Phoenix getting caught out so early. There's the Piltover Peacemaker. The Ignite is ticking, but it's not quite going to be enough. A nice Valkyrie gets him out of that one.
Look at how far ahead they are in health values in the bottom lane already. I mean, this is really going to be difficult for Aces High to come back from. Holy Phoenix is going to have to be fighting an uphill battle here, really, against Nono in order to actually get anything accomplished. And even the CS is already in the way of Nono, even though, no one missed any waves or anything. They just pushed him off about 4 CS in the first wave alone. That's insane. I mean, really, Holy Phoenix and Noxiac are either going to need some serious assistance from Theocles, or Theocles is going to have to snowball a different lane, I feel.
Yeah, quite possibly. We'll have to see which lane he does opt to go for. Currently, neither jungler having ganked. However, Theocles has been back to base now. He's got that first jungle item, so he's going to have his Chilling Smite to use, which obviously, if you're going for that item, you're definitely wanting to go for some early pressure.
Yeah, the Chilling Smite is something we see a lot more frequently now that the Rangers Trailblazer was actually nerfed to not give you health and mana on cast. Noxiac and Lune here just duking it out. Nona's really far behind, so I don't feel like that was accomplishing that much. It did maybe threaten to stop the back of Holy Phoenix, which would have been useful. But like I was saying before, obviously the Rangers Trailblazer was nerfed, so going for the Chilling Smite is a bit more of a reasonable option now. Beforehand, just being able to heal in a skirmish by using it on minions was really, really potent. Whereas now, getting the additional CC on someone who can already apply a lot of pressure, like Theocles on the Pantheon pick, is really, really strong. And it's going to be useful as well, considering the amount of mobility that's on the side of Thunderbot. They've got the Glacial Path coming out of Steve, they've got the Flag and Drag coming out of Sean, they've got Troll Pole coming out of Starry. Pretty much everyone's got some way to duck out of sticky situations, and the fact that he can slow them down might be the difference between kill and not a kill. So I really like that pickup, like you were saying.
Look at this bot lane as well. We've just seen Caitlyn, because he was actually a star. He could be in trouble here. Is going to be able to run away from that one. Actually goes back in. Theocles getting aggressed upon. The flash forwards is not going to save his life, though. Istari's so low with the Ignite. Not quite going to be enough. Avenue possibly going to go down. No, Sean's doesn't quite have the damage. And Istari surviving on such little HP there.
Yeah, but this is a lot of pressure coming into the mid lane already. Lune actually already walking up there. You can see just how much Thunderbot wants to put pressure down in the early game. This is what I was talking about earlier on in the champ select, right? Basically, if TBS win these lanes, it's going to be so hard for Aces to come back, because what they've got is a teamfight team, and if they're all behind, they can't teamfight properly, right? Look, Noxiac is already moving towards this middle lane. They know that they need to stop the bleeding early on. Lune just applying so much pressure in the bottom lane to Holy Phoenix. We really need to see Aces come up with something in the early game to not lose lane hard. That is what we need to see coming out of that.
Yeah, and Thaldrin could be
Whoa!
in trouble in this top lane. We're going to see Steve going very aggressive, but he doesn't have the mana to continue on that kind of aggression.
But that really does set the tone for the top lane, right? Look at the damage coming out of Steve already with just Doran's ring. Thaldrin is not, itemizing even remotely defensively at the moment. We might see an early Hex Drinker from him, considering he's against double AP. That's something we see a lot on Nars when you're in that situation. But at the moment, Steve can apply a lot of pressure. If he goes back soon, picks up some AP and teleports into lane, or maybe gets a gank out of Sean's, that could really, concrete his advantage over Thaldrin in the top lane, and it would not surprise me at all to see Sean's put some pressure down early on there just to make sure that Steve stays ahead, because obviously once Thaldrin gets rolling, it can be difficult for Lysandra to deal with that.
Yeah, it certainly can. Well, actually, we're going to see Aces
Ooh,
possibly
bot
in a
lane.
bit of trouble in this bot lane, and Nice Black Shield, though. Going to negate that engage from Lune, and going to mean that this gank from Sean's is just wasted, and he's not able to get anything from that one.
Although it wasn't the ideal gank, I mean, if you look at the positioning of the wave, it's not as if TBS lost anything particularly from that. They're still massively in control of the wave. Somehow, Holy Phoenix has managed to get ahead in CS. I don't know when that happened or how that happened, considering that really Nono should be putting down enough pressure that can't happen. But, the fact that he's got the double Dorns, actually, okay, so the fact that he's got double Dorns is probably how he managed to achieve that. It makes his Phosphorus Bomb do a lot of damage, means that he can CS from a distance. If you've got the Tormented Soil getting leveled up by Noxiac, it's going to let him pretty much guarantee that he gets the CS when he goes for the Phosphorus Bomb. So that's a really nice strategic decision, actually, coming up Aces High here to make sure that Holy Phoenix doesn't fall too far behind.
Yeah, I really like this pickup, and I mean, I would expect Nono to be putting a bit more pressure down in this bot lane. Since he has that pickaxe, they can trade incredibly well, so long as they don't get caught by the bind. Yet again, these Black Shields from Noxiac, same last game, are just on point, completely negating any pressure during this laning phase. But as I was saying, with this pickaxe, they should be able to outtrade their opponents.
I feel like the problem is you've got two really strong laners in Caitlyn and Blitzcrank, but they're strong in different ways, right? Like, Caitlyn is really strong at pressuring you from a distance, putting down poke, and disengaging from sticky situations. And also, she's got good zone control, right? But if you look at Blitzcrank, he's much better with someone like Graves, where you can just hook someone in, or you can both jump in together with the quick draw and buckshot. Because if he misses a hook, like, he can't really do anything. Nono can't play as far up as he would like to. Like, Nono wants to be further up, just pressuring Holy Phoenix every time he goes for an auto attack on a minion, but he can't, because when the hook is down, or when the hook doesn't have a good path to its target, Lune can't really back him up. So it's going to be a bit stronger when they get to, like, mid-game team fights. But actually in lane, it's kind of backfiring a bit.
Avenue could be in trouble here. Oh, the Chum the Waters doesn't quite land. Managed to dodge the charm, though. It was beautifully played by Astari until the ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't put your ultimate cursor as far away from you as possible, it can underfire, even if it looks like it's just bound to hit. That was really a little bit of a mechanical misplay coming out from Astari. But regardless of that, I mean, the turnaround from Avenue wasn't there, wasn't able to really put some pressure down. We actually see Theocles coming into this mid lane trying to make something happen, and now look at the mana on Avenue. Istari's still in a good spot in this middle lane, especially with Sean's nearby, able to put some pressure down if Theocles maybe, comes for a gank or something like that.
Yeah, could possibly see Astari go for a roam now that Ari has based. If he can push this wave out, we could see him going towards a different lane, but actually we're going to see a bind land in that bot lane. Lune taking a lot of poke damage from Holy Phoenix there.
Yeah, the poke coming out of Aces High's bot lane is actually pretty good at this point. To begin with, Phosphorus Bomb actually doesn't really do much damage, and Noxiac isn't able to put them down that much pressure. But with the higher levels of Tormented Soil and the higher levels of Phosphorus Bomb, with the early second Doran's Blade, meaning that he's got, decent damage. Obviously, he doesn't have crazy amounts. Whoa!
Oh, we're going to see it all in this bot lane. No, in a lot of trouble. There's the Pantheon ult coming through as well. Holy Phoenix going to be able to pick up one kill. It's a 1-for-1 so far, and Theocles is going to flash forwards for the kill onto Lune. Is he going to go down, though? Yes, he is. It's a 2-for-2. Blitzcrank picking up one of those kills.
That 2-for-2 was probably better for TBS. I mean, if you look at the amount that was just burned on the side of Aces High, We've got no ultimate coming out of Theocles now, and Noxiac. We've got no flash, exhaust, flash. There was a lot burned there for Aces High, and they only got a 2 for 2, whereas TBS, that was like a best case scenario for them, whereas it was a worst case scenario for Aces High, really. So nice job there by TBS to make the best out of a bad situation. And they're actually doing pretty good right now. They're 500 gold up. No dragons have been taken this game. A bit different than last time around where there's some early ones, but I'd like to see some more stuff happen in this top lane. Just as I say that, Lune actually coming in, trying to get the hook onto Thaldr, not quite able to get it, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, does get slowed by that boulder, so not going to be able to follow through on that hook, and or not going to be able to get in range for that hook. And just going to see both junglers now starting to take those buffs again, getting down to that third rotation of the buffs, or second rotation, sorry, of those buffs, and nearly a beautiful Dark Binding in that bot lane. Nearly managed to catch on Kaelin there.
As a result of him being 1 for 0 for 1 and 10 CS up right now, Holy Phoenix is actually doing really, really well, on his way towards that Triforce. He's got about 300 gold in the bank at the moment, plus 2 of his components. He's looking good.
Avenue mid lane gets caught in this mid lane. There's the Chum the Waters. He's going to go down.
What a combo.
Beautiful catch by Lune.
Yeah, that was absolutely insane damage, insane lockup as well, chaining together the silence with the knockup and the hook, just making sure that he was locked up for as long as possible. Now, Theocles, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, Theocles in a lot of trouble. There's the Cataclysm just to finish that one off. Oh, the hook comes out, but it doesn't quite connect to his target. But this possibly actually going to see Istari just jumping under the tower, poking out Thaldr, and obviously he's able to jump away again. Now we see Steve come in with the ultimate. Look at the damage. Just gets obliterated. This is their tank that just got one shot there. And now that is going to be a mid lane tower. Holy Phoenix so low in this bot lane. There's the heal. The Phosphorus bomb at the last second. And it's a 1-for-1 between the AD carries. And Steve not able to get there in time.
Aces High are really falling apart at the moment. That was very bad play in the middle lane. I mean, they really sent people in one after another to defend when they knew that Lune was missing. He could set up plays. They knew that Sean's was nearby. Steve was missing. I mean, why would you go in there, Steve?
Steve could be in trouble here. There's the Soul Shackles going down from Noxiac. There's the puddle. That's going to be enough to finish him. One last spear will do it. Theocles didn't have the spear available. Now Lune coming in from the side. Has he got enough damage to go for this 2v1? I'm not sure if he does. Gets caught by the binding. He's going to keep chasing onto this one. There's the knockup. There's the silence. Picks him up. Now he's going for the double kill. There he is going to back away. Manly Blitzcrank play coming out here.
That was so bad for Aces High, man. I mean, Steve getting away and then losing Theocles. Theocles is 1 for 4 right now. 12 CS down on Sean, who's 3 for 0. He is not having a good game at all this time around. I mean, last game, he was at least able to make things happen, even if they didn't, result in much. This game, every time he goes for something, it's backfiring. Like, this is the worst nightmare of a laner. It's like that solo queue nightmare you have where your jungler comes and you die, right? Like, that's what's going on for Aces High right now. And at this point, TBS are just so far ahead at the moment that it's going to be really difficult for Aces to win these fights. And it was important that they didn't get to this point, right? I mean, Aces, they're good in team fights. They've got, like, the Gnar coming in. They've got Grand Skyfall for great initiation. Ari's going to be able to juke around, do lots of damage. Soul Shackles is really good. And now that they're behind, it's going to be really easy for Thunderbot to pick people off, to disengage from fights, and to just control the map. And that is exactly what they didn't want to have happen.
Gromp just spitting at Lune a little bit there. Steve and Holy Phoenix actually trading fairly evenly. I would have expected Steve to be sort of winning that little battle, but actually not doing so well. And Holy Phoenix doing a good job there, but I keep on seeing these binds land from Noxiac. Obviously, Morgana is a champion that this guy plays a lot.
Yeah, we've seen Noxiac on Morgana just a ridiculous amount, actually. It's been one of his most played in his, in Ace's journey towards the finals. And Lunette, he's dodged that binding. Noxiac having to use his Dark Shield there. But this could definitely spell an engagement here coming out of TBS in this bot lane. No, if he can get close enough to put some pressure down, has a lot of damage now that he's picked up that Infinity Edge. We don't see the Triforce yet on Holy Phoenix. And Thaldrin in the top lane, Frozen Tomb!
Thaldrin in so much trouble. That's going to be the knockup coming from Jarvan. Steve easily able to pick that one up, and without Meganar, he's just not tanky enough to go for a 2v1. And in the meantime, this could be the bot lane tower going down as well.
See, Lune really wants to go for a hook here. The flash forward, actually, I don't think Ace
nice black shield though. That's going to be the silence. That's going to be Noxia. Noxia going down. Holy Phoenix does have to Valkyrie out, and now could end up seeing a 3v3. Ari's coming down as well. The stun comes out from Theocles. There's the Charm the Waters comes through. Theocles goes down immediately. Istari able to dodge the Charm, and now Holy Phoenix gets grabbed. That's another kill for TBS. And it turns into a 2 for 0 in that, or 3 for 0 in the end in that bot lane, as well as taking the tower in the top lane.
The snowball is well and truly on its way down the hill right now. It's gathering momentum, and Thunderbot are looking like they are seriously they are ready to take down these grand finals. The teleport coming in here, but they're just going for it.
Thaldrin, that's not a place you want to be. Actually, no. Getting charmed underneath the tower. Does manage to caliber net out of there. Whoa. Is he going to live? No, he's not quite. Istari managing to get a counter kill, though. Can he get away from this one? He does flash over that wall, and he's going to be able to survive that one. Istari with a nice little play there, picking up the counter kill.
I mean, having the 3-0 for Fizz right now is one of the biggest things that TBS have going for them. It is very difficult for anyone on the side of Aces to actually deal with him. Probably the person who can best is Thaldrin with that Hex Drinker and the Spectral Cowl, right? He's got a lot of magic resist, but that does mean that Infinity Edge crits from Nono with headshots, man, that is going to be hurting. Aces, they're trying to get this dragon here. I like this. They really need to make something happen. There's only 2 members from TBS here. And actually, I don't know about going for this. So Theocles, what are you doing, buddy?
Theocles is so low. He goes down immediately. That is the dragon coming across the spot. Aces, Holy Phoenix picking that one up. But now we see Lune being such a pest on this front line. That's Noxiac's flash going down. One more auto attack will do it. Steve picking that one up. Now we say Lune is going for Holy Phoenix. Can he land the grab? He's going to do it blind over the wall. The golem's in the way, though. Able to get away with that one. Nice little play by Holy Phoenix to hide behind those.
That was such a weird maneuver by Theocles. I mean, they were not under threat of Dragon being stolen, really. Like, if Sean's jumped in, he is higher level. Oh my god!
Lune is my new favorite player, I think.
Yeah, he has just been on fire this game, hasn't he?
He is just... I think it's the way he plays Blitzcrank as well. He plays to be as annoying as he can, but we're going to see the Skyfall coming in. Sean's could be in trouble here. Gets the knockup onto Holy Phoenix, though. The Ace and Hole comes through as well. Avenue, in the meantime, just gets taken out in that mid lane. Now Theocles is out on his own. Steve is here, but he's He's jumped down while he's but Nono has more than enough damage on his own. This is going to be the Soul Shackles coming out. Can he finish off Holy Phoenix? Ace and the Piltover Peacemaker doesn't quite land, but Istari has arrived, and that's going to be another kill coming across. A 3 for 0 there if you include the mid lane, and now they're going to be able to take a tier 2 bot tower as well.
This is almost a 10k gold lead now at 19 minutes for Thunderbot Sparta. They chose a very snowbally, lane-dominant early game, mid-game team. It's paying off exactly how they wanted it to, and really, Aces need a miracle right now, to be completely honest. They need to find some way of stopping just the ruthless onslaught that's coming out of Thunderbot. But where do you do it? I mean, pretty much they can win fights, but only if Astari's not there. And Astari has been all over the map this game. He's been in top lane, he's been in bot lane, middle lane, he's been over in the jungle. He has been wherever TBS have needed him to be. Thaldrin in this top lane needs to be a little bit careful as well of Steve there. But yeah, I mean, at this point, looking at the items as well, we've got the Lich Bane now completed on Astari. Once he picks up his first needlessly large item, that's when things are going to start going horribly, horribly wrong for Aces. More horribly wrong than they already are.
I was going to say they're already not looking incredible right now, but I mean, looking at the board, look at Theocles. He is having one of the worst games of his life right now. 1-7 in that jungle, and Sean's really sort of showing him up this game, and I'm almost surprised that we haven't seen the Moby boost coming out on Istari. The amount he has been roaming. Obviously, Theocles. Actually, Theocles getting caught out again. There's the Ace in the hole to pick up the kill, and I mean, what can you do against that? Lunette just able to lock anyone up that gets out of position, and Theocles really being bullied this game.
It's so hard right now to even think of what Aces can do to come back. If they can maybe catch someone out with a charm out of this tower, that could be good. But Steve, oh, he's going in.
Oh, Steve getting incredibly low, actually. Has to use his ultimate on himself there. Is he going to go down? The rocket comes through. Holy Phoenix able to pick that one up. Now, Sean's is on his own here. The armor shred is coming through from Holy Phoenix. Can he finish this one off? Valkyrie's forwards. There's the Phosphorus one. Picks up the kill. Now, Avenue looking to go aggressive onto Nono. This could be the chink in the armor that Ace have needed to find. And now, the bind doesn't quite land onto Lune, but the slow comes down from Thaldrin. Can they follow up onto this one? The flash away comes through. Doesn't quite get the speed up, and Lune using that Talisman of Ascension, he's going to be able to get away from that one, but Noxiac get in a 1v1 against Fizz right now. He's going to be able to survive. No, the Ignite is going to come through. That's going to finish him off, but he's going to trade himself for that. Mid laner for support when you've got that much shutdown gold is not a good trade, and Aces just got the fight they needed to potentially get back in this game.
That was kind of weird by Thunderbot. I don't want to call it a throw per se, but Steve going in there wasn't really necessary, right? They could have just taken the tower, but they wanted to pressure more than they need to. Nono in the middle.
Oh, Nono gets absolutely decimated. Beautiful play by Thaldrin there, but Sean's and Lune are there to follow up on this one. Thaldrin on this front line, he doesn't have Mega Knight. He's going to get ulted, and he's going to go down. Sean's picking that kill up, and his team not able to protect him. 1 for 1. AD carry for top laner.
Not a bad trade overall for Aces, but you know, I want to talk again a bit about what happened in the middle lane, inner turret on Ace's side of the map, because that was kind of weird, right? Basically, Steve used Glacial Path, tried to get in and get some lockdown under the tower. The problem was there's a huge minion wave there. If he'd gone in and caught someone out, it's not as if Lune could easily follow up, right? I mean, he would have had to hook through minion wave, and that's difficult. In addition to that, it was pretty readable. Like it was obvious that he'd want to go for something like that if he was in position to do so. And also, it wasn't necessary. Nono could have just hit that tower from out of range of any initiation from Aces and taken it down relatively quickly. I mean, he's got a lot of items right now. It was a weird decision by Steve to go in, and it was one that TBS really paid for. I mean, they lost, I think, total 4 members from that. They lost 3 in the initial thing, and then Nono afterwards. That's the kind of advantage that you do not want to be giving when you're 1 game away from winning the grand finals of a tournament that's paying off $20,000 in prize pools. TBS maybe getting a little bit over-eager there.
Yeah, quite possible. I mean, this is not a game that you want to... Like, if they play it right, TBS pretty much have this game in the bag. Like, I don't want to say that there's no chance for Aces to come back, but I feel like right now, for Aces to win, TBS kind of needs to throw. But actually, no, not in a great spot. The charm not quite going to land there. The man drop is going to come through. Do they have the damage? Yes, they do. Holy Phoenix is going to be able to pick that one up. Actually getting grabbed underneath the tower. Has he got the damage to finish him on his own? Has to flash away. The Ignite not quite going to be enough. But now we're going to see Avenue gets cataclysmed by Sean's, trying to donate the kill, but does have to just take it in the end now. Lune in a 1v1 against Holy Phoenix. I'm not sure who's going to win this one, to be honest. That is going to be Holy Phoenix finally picking that one up. But now he's in a really bad spot. 2v1 again. He goes down. And that's going to be Steve picking up that kill.
I actually really like what Aces is doing at the moment. They're picking fights that they're not winning per se. They trade, right? But they're fighting chaotically, so not all of the force of TBS is in the same spot, just going in on them hard like crazy damages, right? And because of that, they're allowing Holy Phoenix some room to like run around, get some kills, and slowly come back into it. Because in this position, going even is better for Aces High. So long as they don't like lose an objective afterwards, it's better for Aces High. They want to get to a later stage in the game where their team fight can kick in. So I like what they're trying to do to come back here. I think it's up to TBS to stop falling for it, right? Like, if they just push together, and then have like a Starry on the flank, they can go in and do some serious damage. Situations like this, I don't know what Theocles was doing. Yeah, I mean, TBS have got this if they just play it right. If they don't, you know, try and deal with the pressure that Aces is kind of baiting them into.
Yeah, not really much we could say about that at Dragon there. Theocles kind of getting one shot again. I mean, obviously he was trying to go for a Dragon Steal there, but not really able to pull that one off. It was a 1v5, and I mean, you could argue that that's kind of what Aces High need to be doing right now is making these desperation plays that could potentially pay off for them.
Well, no, that's it. I think like going for the weird pushes and the fights on the towers and that kind of thing, like Grand Skyfalling and Caitlyn in that position was really ballsy. It was always going to end in someone on your team dying, right? But as long as you go even, aces are cool with that, right? Like that's all they want. But going for the dragon with like no backup and no way into the pit, like the direction that he came from, he didn't even have flash available. He was never going to get that. That was just a weird attempt to steal from Theocles.
Yeah, I agree that it wasn't necessarily executed well, but we are going to see. I think Theocles possibly tilting a little bit here, not having the best game of his life, but we'll have to see what TBS have started being very, very passive now. They've realized that they can't afford to make these mistakes. If they do, then Aces can still come back into this game. So they've started to play incredibly safe, and they're waiting basically for Aces to make a mistake, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, TBS, they need to try and catch someone out. And this is a good opportunity to do it with lots of spells just going down. Oh,
the Spirit Rush used, though. That's going to be Sean's actually going very aggressive. Does have to back away. The Charm actually lands onto his Starry, but not in range to follow up on that one. And in the meantime, we have Thaldrin pushing out this bottom lane, but he's nowhere near a tower. He's not going to be able to pick anything off this, and he's going to head back to base.
I have to say, sort of under the hood MVP for Aces High right now is Thaldrin. You know, if you compare how badly he's doing to the rest of his team, he's doing a lot less badly. But in addition to that, he's applying pressure in both the side lanes, and it's resulting in these waves that have to be cleared, which is really stopping TBS from forcing advantage in the time frame that they will have an advantage, right? Like, they've got an advantage in the early and middle game. Later on, maybe not so much. So making him go and push out those waves in the middle game, that's great. That buys you time. Thaldrin is doing a really nice job of that. And actually, I'm kind of confused by some of Steve's play this game. Like, not only that dive under the inner tower, but also not split pushing against Steve is a bit weird. Obviously, he can't necessarily 1v1 him because there's just so much magic resist on Thaldrin. But equalizing the wave at the very least would be really useful. Sean's, oh man, the hook!
Oh, Holy Phoenix getting caught out. That is not what they want, and does manage to get away, but the Cataclysm comes through. There's the ace in the hole as well. Avenue now going to be the target. Flash forward for the knock-up, and No able to pick that kill up for himself, and now Noxiac has to flash away as well. This is going to be TBS heading towards Inhibitor Towers. They're going to be chasing Noxiac all the way through the jungle right now, and with No and Blitzcrank, they should be able to force this Inhibitor Tower. Noxiac not going to be able to get away from this one. Doesn't have Flash, and he's going to go down. And with a Caitlyn here, they're easily going to be able to take away this Inhibitor Tower.
That chase on Morgana was a little bit weird. I feel like that kind of suggests that they want to go for a Baron, maybe, because it guarantees that there's going to be one less member. But, you know, the Inhibitor was free regardless, so it's not as if they lost out on anything. And if TBS goes for bottom jungle, they're going to get red here. I mean, they are really pulling ahead now after sort of a while where everything was kind of inactive. You know, there was no more action for a while. So TBS, for whatever reason, have decided to just put pedal to the metal and start pressuring down these lanes. Not having super minions available is very, very bad for Aces.
No, getting his back stopped there. Could be in a lot of trouble. Has the damage though. The headshot comes through. Can he crit? Yes, he can. The final crit there. Going to keep him up. But obviously Theocles going to be able to flash forwards for that kill. Gets himself a nice bit of gold that he so desperately needs. But that is going to reset his value as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure that was best on Theocles, to be honest. I mean, someone else, you know, just keeping the low gold value on Theocles might have been more useful, because he is so squishy right now. Like, if No goes onto him, that's a dicey situation. And actually, Starry and Lune trying to go onto Avenue here.
Istari able to dodge that ultimate. Actually, we're going to see a lot of damage coming out onto Istari, but they just don't have the follow-through. And now Noxiac trying to flank from the top, but there's just too many members of TBS right there.
Yeah, that was weird by Thaldrin and Avenue. Like, they were trying to apply pressure, and then Noxiac was randomly behind enemy lines, I guess maybe trying to put down some wards, which he didn't even accomplish. That's not the kind of plays that they need to be making. They need to be making plays where they have chaotic team fights, but they actually have people fighting rather than just running away. So going that deep into enemy territory was a very strange decision. Theocles actually just taking loads of damage from the Baron. Did he He Grand Skyfall the Baron, but they had vision of it.
I'm not sure.
That was interesting.
I'm not sure, to be honest. We're going to see TBS, though, heading towards this bot lane now. I mean, look at the scoreboard right now. They are 11,500 gold ahead of their opponents. Basically, the only ray of hope for Aces High right now is Holy Phoenix. He's 852. However, he keeps on getting caught out. Look at that. Istari is able to just 100-0 him in like under 2 seconds. And
didn't even
that
use
is going to be
Troll.
another dragon secured.
That was 100-0 without using all of his abilities, too. I mean, he is just so strong right now. He's got a Zanya's with another Needlessly. Once he picks the next item up, it's going to be ridiculous. Istari, 3 people on him right now. How many can he take down?
Yeah, he's going to Zanya's the Soul Shackles. He's going to be able to dodge that stun. He's going to go onto Noxiac. I don't know if he has the damage. Actually, he does have the damage. Managed to pick up 1 kill with himself. Noxiac gonna go down there. Not really worth much gold though. 0-8 right now. And this is, in the meantime, there was 3 people top, which means this bot lane inhibitor tower is wide open for TBS to take. That's a second inhibitor. Holy Phoenix gets caught again. That's going to be another kill for Job, and the Cataclysm comes through. Avenue goes down as well. Lune picking that kill up. And now they're pressuring onto wards. They're trying to end the game right now. This is going to be the first Nexus Tower going down momentarily. Another grab lands. Lune is destroying this game. That's going to be Zonya's coming out from Steve. And Thaldrin is trying to do what he can. He's going to jump in, use the Gnar ultimate. Steve actually getting very low. Already used his Zonya's. I'm not sure if it was a misclick, but that is going to be game. TBS in convincing fashion 3-0 Aces High and take away $20,000.
What a crazy finals. I mean, TBS, we haven't seen them play for a while because a lot of lower bracket games were played after the winners bracket finals. And so I was kind of curious to see if TBS had been keeping on form, keeping up the practice regimen, making sure that they could deal with aces who were getting loads of experience going through the lower bracket. I mean, they turned it around from going 0-2 against Rocks in the winners bracket to going, I think, total 6-1 in the lowers bracket. So they really turned it up. But TBS in this finals just looked dominant. I mean, they've really stayed ahead of the game ever since their last game in LPL, and I think they 100% deserve this win. Congratulations to them and commiserations to Aces High.
Yeah, really, really showing a dominant performance and showing that they do truly deserve this victory. Unfortunately, since TBS have won in such a convincing fashion, that is going to be our last game of the night. Massive congratulations to TBS winning 3-0 in that best of 5, but unfortunately, that's all from us. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the content, please click on the follow button below so next time LoL Pro League is on, you'll be notified via email. And if you've enjoyed the casting as well, you can follow us on Twitter. My name on Twitter is @MunchablesLol, and you can follow Osiglas as well, which is @Osiglas. I'll throw out a tweet after this game as well, tagging him in it. So make sure you follow us on social media. But that is going to be it from us, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.